You check the lottery numbers again, just to be sure. Your heart sinks the same way it did the first time. Somewhere across town, someone else is holding a winning ticket, and you can't help but think the universe handed them something it never hands you. But the real answer is far stranger. Luck isn't something that happens to you. It's something your brain builds, moment by moment, without you ever noticing. Think about the last time something good happened by accident. A chance meeting, a job that landed in your lap, a parking spot that opened up right when you needed it. You called it luck. Everyone does. But psychologists have spent decades trying to answer a simple question. Are lucky people actually luckier, or are they just built differently? In the late 1990s, a psychologist named Richard Wiseman set out to find out. He gathered hundreds of people who described themselves as either consistently lucky or consistently unlucky. Then he tested them, not with dice, not with cards, with ordinary life. He gave them newspapers and asked them to count the photographs inside. The unlucky group took minutes, scanning line by line. The lucky group finished in seconds. Why? Because on the second page, in large letters, Wiseman had printed a message. It said, "Stop counting, there are 43 photographs in this newspaper." The lucky people noticed it. The unlucky people were so focused on the task that they missed it completely. That's the first secret. Luck isn't random. It's attention. Lucky people are noticing machines. They scan the world more broadly. They're relaxed enough to catch what's happening at the edges instead of tunneling in on what they expect to find. Unlucky people, Wiseman found, were often more anxious, and anxiety narrows your vision. It keeps you locked on the thing you're afraid of missing, which ironically makes you miss everything else. But attention is only half of it. The other half is what you believe about yourself before anything even happens. In 1975, a Harvard psychologist named Ellen Langer ran an experiment that changed how scientists think about control. She gave people lottery tickets. Half were assigned a random number. The other half got to choose their own. Then she asked people if they'd sell their ticket before the drawing. The people who picked their own numbers demanded 4 times more money to give it up. Nothing about the odds had changed. A random number and a chosen number had exactly the same chance of winning, but the act of choosing created something Langer called the illusion of control. Your brain doesn't just want good outcomes, it wants to feel like it had a hand in creating them. This illusion isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It's the same wiring that made your ancestors survive. Imagine a hunter tracking an animal across open land thousands of years ago. If he believed his actions had no bearing on the outcome, he'd stop trying. He'd sit down and wait to starve. But if he believed that his choices, his timing, his effort mattered, he kept moving. He kept adapting. The illusion of control isn't about lying to yourself. It's about staying in the game long enough for real skill to catch up with chance. There's an even older experiment that shows how deep this goes. In the 1940s, the behaviorist B.F. Skinner placed pigeons in a box that dropped food at fixed intervals, no matter what the pigeon did. Within minutes, the pigeons started repeating whatever action they happened to be doing right before the food appeared. One turned in circles, one bobbed its head toward a corner, one swung its body like a pendulum. None of these actions caused the food to arrive, but the pigeons couldn't tell the difference between coincidence and cause. Skinner called it superstition in the pigeon, and you do the exact same thing. You wear the same socks during a winning streak. You retrace your steps because your keys turned up once before. Your brain, like the pigeons, is a pattern-finding machine, and sometimes it finds patterns that were never really there. So if luck isn't magic, and it isn't fully illusion either, what is it actually made of? Wiseman's research found 4 traits that separated the self-described lucky from the unlucky, and none of them involved chance at all. Lucky people maximize chance opportunities by staying open and social instead of guarded. They listen to intuition, which is really just pattern recognition built from experience. They expect good things to happen, which changes how persistently they try. And critically, they turn bad luck into good luck. When something goes wrong, the lucky group reframed it. A missed flight became a chance to meet someone new. A failed job interview became practice for the next one. The unlucky group treated the same events as proof that the universe was against them. and stop trying as hard afterward. This is the counterintuitive twist. Luck isn't the cause of a good life. It's often the result of behavior that happened before anyone could see it coming. The person who got lucky with a job usually sent out 50 applications instead of 5. The person who got lucky in love usually said yes to more invitations, more conversations, more small risks that most people talk themselves out of. Chance still plays a role. Nobody is denying that. But chance needs surface area to work with, and the size of that surface area is something you control. Here's the part that should unsettle you a little. If luck is mostly attention, expectation, and behavior, then unluckiness can become a self-fulfilling loop. Believe the world is against you, and you narrow your focus onto every disappointment, which confirms the belief, which narrows your focus even further. It's not that unlucky people have worse lives, it's that their own vigilance against bad luck is what blinds them to the good luck sitting right in front of them, the same way the anxious newspaper readers miss the answer printed in giant letters on the second page. So think again about that lottery ticket. The odds didn't care whether you picked your numbers or let the machine choose them, but your brain did, and that difference, small as it seems, is the entire story of luck. It was never really about probability. It's about whether you're the kind of person who notices the second page, who stays in motion after the hunt goes wrong, who turns a missed flight into a new beginning instead of a curse. Tonight, when something small and good happens to you, notice it before you explain it away. Because the people who call themselves lucky aren't seeing a different universe than you. They're just paying attention to the one you're already standing in. And that's it for today's video. Human behavior is full of hidden patterns, biases, and fascinating psychological mechanisms that influence the way we think, feel, and act every day. On this channel, we'll break down these concepts in a simple and easy-to-understand way. If you're curious about human psychology and want to understand yourself and others better, make sure to stay tuned for future videos. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.